What is Ebola virus? Why is it so dangerous? And what it does in simple terms, as far as I know in layman's terms. This book describes the Ebola virus. I believe this is it right here on the cover. This book, and I've studied viruses for a number of years. This book was copyrighted in 1994 when I bought it. This other book right here is 30 years old, Nostradamus. You can see how the pages are yellow, and it's kind of interesting to get a 30-year-old Nostradamus book in 1984 and see what it's like. The Ebola virus came from Africa somewhere. All right, now let's discuss what a virus is. A virus is something that's been around for a long time. It just makes copies of itself, just like a computer virus, until it kills its victim or whoever has it. Now, there are two types of viruses which they talk about. I'm going to draw a picture of this little, Ebola virus. And I'll show you the two types. It looks something like that. It kind of like spaghetti, okay? Now, the way it's transmitted by bodily fluids, touching the victim, things like that. And what happens in Africa is they have a culture of cleaning a dead body and washing them and everything else with their bare hands, which they've done for a long time. It's a cultural thing. That is one way it really spreads. Now, the second way it can spread, which is the most dangerous, and hopefully it will never happen, is if the virus becomes airborne. When it becomes airborne, the virus still looks like this, except it has a bunch of little, it's kind of hot, damn it. It has a bunch of little tiny hairs on it under the microscope. Okay? What those hairs allow the virus to do is to go airborne, remain in the air, which means all you have to do is get close to someone and they cough and the virus is in the air, and if you catch it, well, you're screwed. What Ebola does, as I understand, and I've been studying prophecy and the future plague or pandemic that may take out a lot of the world, according to Nostradamus, is that the Ebola virus gets into your blood cells and it ruptures them, all of them, so you just bleed from everywhere. The mortality rate they claim for this outbreak is 50%, but let me tell you one thing, okay? Nobody knows. There ain't no reporters going down there checking into it. There's no doctors. They got any fucking brains that are looking into this, okay? These are all a bunch of young cowboy, gunslinger doctors that think they can save the world. They're going into these situations. They're catching this, and they're dying. So, if we go here, this is Project Ebola right here, and Ebola has broken out in different parts of Africa in isolated places. What usually happens is a family member gets it, he passes it along to another villager, and that continues throughout the village, the all of them die, and then the virus dies with them, because the virus cannot live without a host. Now this is where it gets tricky. We need to find the vector for this virus, which has not been found. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute.